Welcome to the Fruit Heights City Council meeting. My name is John Pullman, Mayor of the City of Fruit Heights. We are beginning at 7 o'clock with an anchor location at 910 South Mountain Road, Fruit Heights City, Utah. Love to welcome everyone this evening. We are going to start off with a Pledge of Allegiance. It's going to be led by Jeff Euler, and I will say the opening prayer. Jeff?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we bow our heads and give you thanks for this day. We're so grateful to live in this wonderful country. We're grateful for the blessings that we have of freedom and of the opportunity to meet as a city council. Father, we're very grateful for the abundance of which we have been given. Please help us to be mindful of those in need. Please help us to care for those in need and to show compassion to those that need help. Please be with us this evening, that we will be able to discuss the matters of our community, that we'll be able to look for the best betterment of our community. Please be with us this evening. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Item 2.1, roll call. Brandon?
Councilmember Diane Anderson will be late. Councilmember Gary Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Florence Sadler.
Here.
Councilmember George Ray.
Here.
Councilmember Eileen Moss.
Here.
Mayor John Pullman.
Here. Thank you. We're going to move over to item number 1.3. This is a city council training, which is going to be performed by George Ray. You're on the clock for 3 minutes.
On the clock, 3 minutes. I'm going to be done long before then. I don't like talking. This week, since we've been working on an annexation, I thought I'd take this opportunity and wade into the annexation processes and try to get a better understanding of them. And so I was going to just point out some highlights and also tie them into the current annexation we're doing, just because it helped me understand the process just a little better. In Utah, property owners petition municipalities for annexation. However, local governments have the final say on whether or not we annex. Each city must have an annexation policy plan. I could not find ours on our website, so I'd encourage us to make that maybe more publicly available on there. Annexation can only happen on land connected to the current city boundaries. Fruit Heights cannot annex Crimea. Granted, it's already been done, right?
That was funny.
But by law, and that joke's aged well, right?
That is hilarious.
By law, cities cannot annex land to prevent other cities from annexing the land. So you can't have city boundary wars by using annexation. You actually have to annex it and make it a part of your city by providing services. In Utah, I think I put that twice. In Utah, state law requires property owners petition the city for annexation. Municipalities may only initiate the process when annexing a peninsula or an island. So the process starts by the property owner, not from the city, unless we're annexing something that's surrounded by the city, or a peninsula that's mostly surrounded by the city. During the process, municipalities must notify all affected entities, so school districts, utilities, the county, the city, obviously. So service districts have to be notified of the purpose of the petition to annex. And obviously there's rules and limits set for notifying the public of that annexation. I'm not going to go into those because it's long. Lots of details on that. And for the rock lot, the one that we're currently working with, the petition was done back in October. Then the approval for the petition was done in January. The certification was done in February, and the notifications were done in. There's a time frame for people to protest that annexation, and that was up 30 days from that certification. There is some question about whether we need a public hearing on the actual city ordinance, because that's how we actually annex, is through the ordinance. And you can't have too many public meetings, but you can have too few public meetings on there. And so the law is a little confusion on whether that is required for that ordinance. And then once that ordinance is approved, the city has to, within 30 days, notify all those affected entities again, and then also file with the state that annexation has been done. That's it.
George, that was great. Thank you. That was very timely. Moving on, we're going to go to item number 2. Any conflicts of interest on the agenda tonight? Not seeing or hearing any. You're going to go to item number 3, which is a public comment period. Time for those residents of the city to make a petition to the city council. Do we have anything this evening? Not seeing or hearing any. We're going to go on to item number 4, which is a special presentation from our youth city council. Looks like we have a couple of youth in attendance this evening. If you wouldn't mind coming up and saying your names, that'd be great. And when you state your name, you must smile.
My name is Scott Groberg.
My name's Haley Halliday.
All right. I am here representing the U City Council with Haley. I will be presenting the council's shoe project while Haley presents our blood drive and Easter egg hunt. For our shoe drive, our council is helping with a shoe drive to collect shoes that will go to create economic opportunities for women in poor countries. Any shoes that have any life left in them are appreciated, and donation boxes are here at the city building, both inside and outside, through the end of this month. We have already had a lot of shoes donated, and we express appreciation for the response so far from our city residents. If you have not yet donated and want to, please clean out your old shoes from your closet and bring them to the donation bins during the next 2 weeks.
So we have our blood drive coming up on April 13th, and that's going to be here from 3 to 8. And it's going to be held in the basement on the lower level. And it'll be a great opportunity for those who are willing and capable to donate some blood. And it will go to, I think, some great resources and be able to help a lot of people. And then in that same week, we also have our Easter egg hunt, which is probably one of our biggest projects. And currently, Maddie Morris is in charge of it this year and has already started planning, and we're setting up times to count and fill the Easter eggs. And then the Easter egg hunt is going to be scheduled on April 16th at 10 a.m. Thank you.
So just really quick, one question from me. When was the blood drive again?
April 13th.
Is that, what day of the week is that? Sorry.
Let me check.
Oh, good. So I can donate blood. I don't have to come back.
That's Wednesday.
It's
Wednesday.
and it's from 3 to 8.
Okay, 3 to 8 on Wednesday. Perfect. And it'll be
Yes.
downstairs.
Yeah.
And then my next comment is I don't think anybody in Fruits Heights has any shoes left because I think they've been brought here.
So where are those getting stored? Like legitimately? There's a garage full of them somewhere. Who's storing them? So I think I've like walked by those bins 3 times in the last 3 weeks, and the bins are emptied and refilled by the time I come in next time. Great.
Can I ask a question
Yes.
about the blood drive? Do you have to sign up for a time or can you just show up? Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
you do?
Oh, and really quick, I was told not to forget that this Thursday we're actually going up to USU for YCC retreat, and it'll be a really good experience about leadership. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for it.
How many are going this year? 7? That's great. So thank you so much, youth. We really do appreciate all you do for the city. And
Okay.
I'm just going to reiterate what you just said so that it is on the mic. So there will be a link that people can sign up for the blood drive. There will be QR codes on that people can sign up for the blood drive. Thank you very much, Youth City Council. We appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Are we going to hold a public hearing today, or are we going to do that in 2 weeks?
We are not. We're going to,
Okay, so we're going to table item number 6.1, which is the annexation, and we're going to go to item number 6.2. Item number 6.1 will be taken care of next city council meeting. Item number 6.2, which is review, discuss the 2021 audit report that has been in the share drive since Friday. Do I have any questions about it? And is that something that we need to approve? No, it's just a questions and answers.
yeah, this is just a presentation of the audit that we just went through. So this is our last budget year, which is 2020, July 1st of 2020 through June 30th of 2021.
So is the auditor not going to come in and present
The auditor,
findings?
yeah, well, there were no findings. We
That's
had no
good,
findings.
Right?
Um,
But present, I just wonder, because we have a couple new council members that sometimes in the past, it's been very helpful to have the auditor come through and
because of the season and the time of year, they're a little bit overwhelmed. He said that he would be happy to come, but it probably wouldn't
May?
happen until after tax time. So, but
can you imagine?
I have to post this on the state website.
I see his name
so.
on 1099s coming through where I work in J1s.
So I will say that the audit report was clean. I didn't see any findings, and I appreciate the opportunity to review it. I think you're doing a good job, Brandon, in your transparency and in the finances.
But I do think it would be a nice idea if we could to have him come in May to kind of go through things for new council members.
I got a quick question for you.
Okay.
On page 12 of 62, it says the CARES Act revenue was 120,389 less than budgeted. Can you just give us a little background?
So some of that money came in. It came in tranches, if you remember.
Yep.
And so some of that money will show up on this current budget year.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we
Yeah, I
didn't get
just
it all at one time. We got it in separate installments.
Wasn't sure if we were going to have to
No.
figure out how to make the difference up.
Nope. Nope.
And we're
Okay.
still reaping the benefit of people buying stuff and having it delivered to their doorstep with our sales tax.
Sales tax. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes.
Excellent job, Brandon.
Thank you.
I would like to point out, if you haven't noticed when you pulled up, the roof is getting finished. That looks fantastic. Appreciate all that you guys are doing. The shop has been done. That looks great too. And the galleries were redone. That money to do that came from FEMA, from the windstorm of 2020. So it only took 2 years to get that going.
And some insurance.
Yes.
I
Some
think.
insurance, yes. Any further questions? I would move on to item number 7, which is a review, approve the minutes from the previous meeting, March 1st. Amy did a fantastic job. Thank you. Anyone have any questions with regards to the minutes? I would look for a motion to approve the minutes then. I have a motion from George.
I'll second it.
I have a second from Flo. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from March 1st, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Those are completed. We have consent calendar. Eileen, do you have anything on the February check register or the February budget report?
I appreciated Brandon getting it to me quite early, so I had a chance to look it over. For new council members, there's always things you don't quite recognize. Shades of Gray is not a naughty publishing thing. It's our printing company, and
I looked that one up.
so we,
What the?
What is Brandon doing in his off time?
It doesn't have
500
50 in
bucks.
front of it. It's only just shades of gray.
So yeah, it looks, I mean, we're spending our money on what we budgeted our money on. So the one thing I would like to ask Brandon for is we are halfway through our year, more than halfway through our year. And in the past, sometimes you've been able to put together a report where we are in our different funds. And again, that would be kind of useful for our new council members, particularly to see how we're doing.
Yes, I was working on that this week as I've been preparing budget and was waiting to get the audit report. So I will have a document to show you where we currently are. But in my preparing of the budget and my review of the current budget, we are sitting very well.
We've really benefited by.
Yeah, there's some things that have helped us. So we're sitting well. We haven't, we've got some grant money that we haven't spent yet, but yeah, we're doing well.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon. There's nothing on our upcoming events. YCC presented on the Easter egg and the blood drive. I would encourage everyone to get that information out. If you have not been here for the Easter egg hunt, it is legitimately the funnest 15 seconds you've ever had in your entire life. It is so fun, and it is done within minutes. I would encourage you to come. It's a great event. In years past, we have been able to partner with the Mountain Road Presbyterian Church. Pastor Don Kraft has been down here, and it's been a really good joint event. I don't know if he's going to be here, but it has been a really good event and opportunity to be a community member with the local Presbyterian church.
The YCC did ask in their last meeting about megaphones, if there happen to be any in the city, anywhere that they can use for the event this year. Do we know if we've got any?
Sorry, I didn't hear
Megaphone.
that.
Do we have a megaphone
Megaphones.
in the shed?
We don't have a megaphone, but we have a portable speaker that the emergency preparedness group has used. That seems to work really well, and it works off of batteries, so it doesn't have to be plugged in. And I would be more than willing to allow them to the use of that.
Nice.
Great.
Who should we have them talk to you directly then?
Yeah, just have them talk to me.
Get that.
I'll get it set up. Yeah, I'll have it ready for them.
Nice.
Matter of fact, I'll just put it in the storage where all of their stuff is before the event so that it's in there. They can just get in, get it, and then just put it back in there. We'll grab it out of there and put it downstairs again.
Super.
Will they need to buy batteries, or can they just charge it up?
It just needs to be charged. So I'll make sure it's ready to go before.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Yes.
We're flying through this. This is great. Let's go to item number 10, which is the city council report. George, I wanted to ask you, it came up and I didn't call you. I apologize. 4th of July, have you been in contact with Kaysville?
I have not heard from them. I did talk to Mayor Tram as I crossed paths with her a few months back. But other than that, I never get a contact either.
Okay,
So our
so
conversations earlier this spring.
I will, Jeannie Grober's the best contact. I will get the contact and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Is that all right?
And will she have the contact?
She will have it, yes.
Oh,
but
well,
I'll make
I
sure.
can reach out to her directly if you'd like.
Okay,
I can do that.
that'd be great. Because I think they're probably going already on planning things for 4th of July.
Okay.
And to have a face there. The last 2 years, we helped significantly with getting the Sunday night devotional. So if they are looking for people and wanting help in tracking someone down, let us know. The city council has been pretty good at helping out with that. Since I'm looking at you, do you have anything to report?
Nope.
Okay.
Other than the megaphone.
YCC, how is that going from your perspective?
Good. Stevensons are both still there, and I haven't asked about that transition with Jeannie.
So
what their plan is.
They're planning on transitioning at the end of this school year. They're going to transition out, and Jeannie and John are going to transition in. So there's going to be some continuity, and I think that'll help out quite a bit.
Awesome. But other than that, they're active in their meetings. I mean,
Is that fun to be a part of those YCC? It's neat.
it's good.
Good.
It's fun for them.
Excellent. Gary, do you have anything?
Yeah, I had a resident ask me about the Udot dump trucks coming up Mountain Road, down Green Road. If we're conscientious of, they seem to believe that the road was getting a little beat up. I wasn't sure if we've paid attention to that at all, or
Well,
Are we working with UDOT or to try and help have them fix the road?
They're just, everything right down at the bottom right now is right at the bottom of Green Road with the storm drain.
It's on.
It's off. So everything at Green Road is right at the bottom right now. They're just finishing up the storm drain. And then they're just finishing up that little bit for the connecting road between that piece. So we're aware of the trucks are trying to use Cary Drive, Peachtree.
They're gonna break them all up.
So,
That'd be fair.
it's not like anything else. Green Road, it's not doing anything to it. I've been a bunch of times.
Okay. So you're kind of watching it, and you don't feel like it's getting unduly beat up. Okay, that's what I was wondering
Thanks.
about, and maybe you were going to announce that, but
Yeah.
if you are, I'll leave that alone.
Eileen.
What are you announcing?
Oh, just there's a interfaith Lamb of God.
Okay. I think we're supposed to have a meeting here tomorrow about the
general plan.
general plan. I feel like the city council hasn't really been involved in this yet. I hope that happens at some time.
Yeah, all we're doing is having open houses. That's all we're doing. Nothing's being approved. We're just taking input from residents.
Okay.
We did our first open house. I can't remember if it was the end of last year or the first of this year, and got some input on some things. So they've taken that input and they've compiled what they received. We're going to do another open house and take some more input on the plan that they've come up with. But yeah, mayor or the planning commission will see it. The city council will see it. It's all going to be, there will be public hearings.
So the intent was to have an executive committee, which you were asked to sit on, you and Diane, so that we didn't take up time in both planning commission and city council meeting to discuss this. So the executive committee is pushing this along.
That's down the line though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This is not going to go in without everyone reviewing that pretty thoroughly.
Then my next question is, when are we going to see a proposed ordinance for our accessory dwelling units?
So that is on the agenda. We were waiting for the legislative session to wrap up so that if there were any changes to the state law for ADUs, we could incorporate those changes into an ordinance, because we didn't want to get down the road with an approval on an ordinance and then have to come back and get some because of changes. So that session's wrapped up. There were some, but I don't know that there was, and Jeff could probably speak to this. I don't know that there were the changes that we anticipated were going to be done.
There were some changes. They were more minor in nature. There was quite a to-do in the legislature over short-term rentals. Next week, I'm going to the APA conference, and that's where they usually kind of give like a full rundown, breakdown of everything that was done and what they're recommending that cities do. So,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
So that'll be back in front of the planning commission now that the legislative session's over, and Jeff can give us some feedback on which direction we should head.
Thank you.
Flo, did you have anything?
Not that I can think of.
Great. A couple things I can report on. Last city council meeting, we had Councilmember Moss that threw out a recommendation of garbage collection up at the bike park, as well as a porta potty. Brandon has talked to staff. They have come up with a couple solutions, couple ideas. They called and talked to our garbage pickup company, and they're trying some things out to see if it can work out. And I appreciate staff, Darren and Brandon for running with that. Like I think there's some options of things that we can do to mitigate some of the problems that we're having up there. And just trying, I think, shows quite a bit of effort. So thank you, Darren, and your team for working on that. Do you have any concerns or any issues?
We've poured that for the port pipe. So we'll get one ordered here and get it anchored down.
So their team poured a pad so they can put a porta potty on it.
Yeah, we poured the pad already. So sorry.
Assuming it then has some rebar or something that can be used to tie it down to, or? how
No,
does
we'll drill anchor bolts
You'll
and
drill
bolt it
anchor
down
bolts, okay.
because the patterns of all of them are different.
that- Okay,
So we didn't want to put a
Yeah.
pattern in and then they bring one and it doesn't match. And then
okay.
so
Thank you for doing that.
Friday, March 25th at 7:30, The Lamb of God by Rob Gardner is going to be presented down at the Tabernacle, the Salt Lake Tabernacle down on Temple Square. Our own Jane Felstead is conducting it.
What day is that?
Friday the 25th. No tickets are required. It's first come, first serve. Councilmember Gary Anderson is going to be in the choir singing his little heart out, and I would encourage those to come in and listen to it. It's a pretty impressive performance. It's incredible.
Yeah, if you haven't been before, actually, I went because they invited all city council members like 4 or 5 years ago, and I went, and we were impressed with it, and the next year we signed up to do it, and it's actually a very good thing, and it's a community thing. It's not just, there's a lot of different churches that are involved in it. So
It is an interfaith choir. A couple other things. I am continuing to work on the fire contract and fire negotiation for this year with Kaysville. We are working to see what some resolutions could be for next year and ongoing. Those are discussions that are still being had. And then I also want to thank Brandon for all he's done with these grants. That's a lot of work. In the last 3 years, I think we're up over $3 million in grants and funding for FEMA. Appreciate all you're doing. Keep it up. You're doing an awesome job. I know that he has had, and we've been in direct conversations with Lincoln, and it's fairly optimistic with discussions with Future Cemetery in Fruit Heights. Very optimistic.
Who's Lincoln?
Lincoln is a legislator, lobbyist that we hired as a city to help us get some funding for that. So
He's earning his keep.
he has done a very good job for us. He's the one that pushed through the water project in Shady Lane. There's 50 million in the entire state, and we got $1 million of it. And there were over $1 billion worth of requests. He was the one that pushed through the fiber so that Kaysville could get that grant, and he's working with us to get quite a bit of money for the potential cemetery and infrastructure up in that area. There is a lot of, and I'm just going to take 2 minutes and just say there's a lot of contention going on with people being problems with construction, with 89 ongoing, with this water project that's going on with Weber Basin. And I would just tell you to do all you can as a city council member, as an elected official, to smile and just treat them with love, because people are coming unglued like out of every corner. It's nuts. I don't know what's going on. Like, people are just acting irrational. It's crazy. So just, if you could, just give people a little bit extra empathy and try and work with them and talk to them in their own spheres. I think I'll leave it at that. Jeff Euler, do you have anything?
No, things are still progressing on Rockaloff Ridge Estates. I think probably in April we'll have some stuff in front of the council for looking at some final approval on some sections.
Great. Thank
So-
you.
So quick question on that. Don't they have to get a bridge over onto 1800?
Yes.
So how can we have any finals before they,
Well, they can't
Have
do
that.
anything until they get a plat approval. They're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, they can't do any large scale construction until we've approved the
All they
project.
can do right now is move some dirt around.
but don't they have to have the Army Corps of Engineers buy off on
Yes.
a bridge? So
So the-
doesn't that have to happen before plat approval?
Well, there'll have to be letters of approval from those agencies, and that's all in the works right now.
Okay, so do I have the order of operations correct though? Do they have to have an approval before plat approval, or does that not matter?
They have to have a stream alteration permit before,
A what?
A stream alteration permit.
yeah,
Okay.
from Army Corps, before we give them final plat approval.
And then once they get final plat approval, that doesn't mean they get to start building. It means that they can put their infrastructure in place, and their infrastructure has to be approved before they can build a single house.
But they can't build a house without a bridge, right? Or I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, not unless the council, makes something subject to something else. But in general, all of that, the bridge, the roads, all of that's part of phase one.
Yeah,
all of it.
So they have to have an inlet and an outlet, basically
Yep.
two sides.
Before they. start
And,
building a house.
I got chastised for calling that a bridge. It's a culvert. So
Okay.
we should start calling
Do
it
they
a
have to have a
culvert.
culvert?
Yes.
In place. I can adapt.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff. Darren, do you have anything? Actually, would you please give us a UDOT update?
So as far as Lloyd Road, because that seems to be a big push right now, they are on schedule. Even if there are a couple delays, they believe they'll be done by May, ready for paving. Just a couple things with the power companies, delayed them a couple times, saying they'll be there, then they delay it. But they'll get that done hopefully this week or next week. They start the wall by Cherry Hill at the end of this week, and they're hoping to start curb and gutter by the end of next week. So
What's the prognosis on, you said that they're getting close on the culvert and stuff over by Green Road. Is that what they're going to use to get the water out of the detention basins, and how long until that water is no longer a lake?
So yes, they if they finish the storm drain today, that lake tied in from Bear Creek all the way to 400 North. As far as when they'll let the water, I don't know if they're going to have to let it continue to seep down some because it's blocked off up there, or pump water out so they can get down to the pipe so they can pull the plug. So that I don't know. I didn't talk to them about that, but they were trying to finish the storm drain today.
So there's hope that that might happen before the mosquitoes break out too badly. No? No.
We've asked them to leave it in there for the mosquitoes.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that.
Would you like to buy that house next door?
So yeah, I'm hoping that if they got that finished, they're already prepping the other side to start that work on the other side. So it's just they're actually really trying to timeline things out really fast in the Fruit Heights area to get finished with that. Just a heads up on the lights. They're pulling wire for the lights up there at 400 North today and yesterday. And I've talked to them last week. They should be, I would think, within the next week or two with all our lights up in those intersections. Once again, we're waiting for the power company to set a meter on our side. So when we requested a meter to be set at the station, they did one side but didn't do the other. So now we have to get them to come back to set the second meter there. So, but
It's been cleared, I cleared that. So between now and 2023, this should
They should be there to set a meter. Yeah.
Great.
So,
Anything else, Darren?
our projects should be going out to bid at the end of this week.
Is that
As
this
far as
Shady
our-
Lane?
For our water projects, yeah,
Okay.
Cherry Lane and down in Shady Lane area to replace the AC pipe. So,
Are we replacing Cherry Lane as well?
yes.
Excellent. So we're going to be tearing that right back up.
So we're working with Weaver Basin on that because they're on one side, we're on the other. Just for that lower part, we will probably just say, hey, we put ours in, get everything crossed, we'll just pave that whole thing. So it
Okay.
won't have a trench patch in that. But along with the trench patching, it's to our ordinance. Brandon and I were very, very determined on the bids to say they have to put this back to our ordinance when they put this back. So it's not just going to be a tiny patch. It'll be T-patched. It'll be have a seal coat on it after and all those kind of things, just a heads up. So if people are asking you, you just did this road, now you're tearing it up, it will be put back to our city standards. And our
Great.
city standards changed a couple of years ago. So it's a big difference from what it used to be. So
Great. I had reached out to Brandon and asked about that already, so I was privy to that. So thanks for bringing that up. Haley, do you have anything? Brandon?
I just have a couple of things. Actually, I only have two things. Working on on the next year's budget, 2022, 2023. We will be adopting a tentative budget in May, and then we'll start discussing budget stuff. Still up in the air on how many projects we're going to get done, but because we have some grant money that we'll be using, but we've got approximately 4 years to use that money. So we'll see where we are, but I'm going to budget for quite a few projects, planning on budgeting. One thing that we're making a push to do is getting more residents on paperless billing.
Great.
Really, we're right now at about half of our residents are on paperless. The other half are getting a utility bill. So by July 1st of this year, there will be some kind of a penalty associated with a mailing of a utility bill. I would also like to try and encourage more people to jump on to paperless with an incentive of some type. So if
Brandon,
you can help me.
That's pretty easy. You just raise the rates for everybody, and then you give everybody a $2 discount that's on, you don't penalize anybody. You just raise the rates for everybody $2 and then give everybody a $2 discount if they're electronic. It's a carrot, not a stick.
Well, I those are the things that I'm wanting. And it's probably something that will need to be discussed, because if we're going to raise rates, that's obviously a discussion in the council. But again, just trying to get people, and I need to tell you that we are sympathetic to our elderly population who may have a hard time doing online. But as those individuals have come into the office because they like to pay with a check or they like to bring their cash in, we are helping them get set up on a paperless billing system.
But they can still come in and pay.
They can still come in and pay. Yeah, we're just simply saying, help us by going paperless.
So question, can we just require it to be online? Can we just say we're going to quit doing paper billing? I mean, it's just, right? I don't get that option when I sign up for anybody online anymore. It's all online.
Yes, we can. But we were kind of, in talking with Brandon and talking with the staff, we're trying to kind of ramp that up so that we have a cutoff date of July 1, that there's going to be a handful. There's probably, hopefully less than 24 that legitimately don't have internet at home, that don't have accounts, don't have a cell phone. So we need to be, and I use Brandon's word, we're going to be empathetic to those ones, but we're trying to do all we can to transition away from printing and mailing statements every month.
Right. What I was suggesting was no carrot or stick.
Just do it.
Just do it. You know, like, we're just going paperless. It's just,
For those who don't really have internet, once we get fiber in place, that takes that away.
Yeah. So what Brandon was asking is for any suggestions, any help to help with that process. Any suggestions, please shoot an email. Like, we want to
Yeah.
make this as seamless as possible.
I have an idea.
And what we would do is we would publish what we're going to do in our Ridge Runner so that people know in advance how we're going to handle it, so that we can promote and draw more support.
So sometimes for people who don't do this all the time, to do screenshots of what your computer screen is going to look like, you know, do this, do this, do this. So maybe, you know, start by putting it in the bill right now that, you know, look at the Fruit Heights City website and give that website for how to do this. And then on the Fruit Heights City website, have those little screenshots. Click print, click this, click that with a little screenshot. I think it might make it easier for some people.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Here's an idea as well, and this may be too burdensome. So if it's
To what?
too burdensome, but
Oh,
but if it's
okay.
if it's a junk idea, it was for free. So, anyways, if you had a computer, laptop here that residents, those very few that wanted to come and pay in the office, have a staff member just help them pay their bill. Maybe that's an idea.
It's not a bad idea because we're already doing it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
Oh, great. That's a,
I have
it
a
up.
question.
well, and I just want to say, I'm glad that you'll give some lead time because I know my parents are the old school and I will work with them. If that helps you, I will work with them to get them paperless.
That's what we need. Thank you.
Yes.
Flora, did you have something?
Yeah, thinking about communication with all the residents, we've talked about this a few months ago. With the older people, I mean, obviously they do like the mail to get the news. Trying to figure out how to reach everybody. How can we, if somebody has more ideas, should we do some Twitter for those who we can reach that way? Or, anyway, you asked me to do communications, right? But there was somebody else. Was it George? Was it all of us?
No.
I can't remember. I need to look at that document again.
I'll send that out.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay.
So any ideas are welcome. And
Yes, because I would like to be able to reach more people for instance, the shakeout
right.
and other emergency preparedness, because it was mentioned that just we need as many ways as possible to reach as many people as possible. So if you know, or if you can help me get signed in to some of these other things that I'm not familiar with, I would appreciate it.
So we tried Twitter last year, 2 years ago, a couple of times, and it wasn't reaching our population. We had a water break, and I legitimately got a text message from my friend in Indiana saying, "Oh no, Fruit Heights water main broke." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what is this all about?" So, and my sister in Cottonwood Heights text me. I'm like, "This isn't the group that we're trying to get at." So, yeah, yes, yeah, and it was done before, like, legitimately, we started getting calls
And they got it from
our Twitter account. So it was great in blasting things out, but it's not the perfect demographic for getting our residents. So we didn't really do that anymore.
And the reason we pulled away from Twitter is because we got a better response from our Facebook. That's why we've stayed with Facebook.
Thank you. Brandon, anything else?
Just one more thing. I'm working with the Precision Electronics out of Centerville to do the radios for the emergency preparedness, CCC. He's actually going to come and straighten up our antenna out there a little bit and make a couple of little changes. But I just wanted you to know that I'm working with Precision Electronics on that stuff.
Great. Thank you.
Question for Brandon, if I could. I was wondering, as we talk about all these different funds and fees and stuff that we have, are we keeping up with our impact fees? We're not letting any of those go too long before we use them, correct?
No, we don't have a problem spending them. We spend them really quite well. We're actually in the negative on all of them except the water, and the water will be used up with the Rockcliff Ridge Estates project. We are also in the process of redoing our impact fees and redoing an impact fee study. So that will be something we're working on. Darren, Brandon Jones, myself, Jeff Euler will be working on that, probably ramping that up in April, May of timeframe with an adoption of a new impact fee schedule by the end of August, 1st of September.
Great. I was asked to announce that all documents that we discussed today will be on the website for anyone online that's watching this. And we don't have anything else on our agenda.
Motion to adjourn?
I have a motion from Eileen,
Second.
second from Gary. Any further discussion?
Oh, I had something. Should I wait till next meeting then? I'm sorry I was late. You guys were so fast. Do you want me to wait till next time?
Go for it.
Yeah.
We still have a motion, but it's okay. We can hold the motion.
Okay. I just wanted to give you just a real quick report.
Great.
I'm sorry I was late, but on Friday I attended the Utah, what's it called? Elected Women of Utah conference down in Pleasant Grove, and got to hear some of the legislators who had just finished the legislative session talk about what was going on, how things played out. I did ask about ADUs and got a contact from Representative Galen Benyon on also someone who has suggestions for cities on short-term rentals on how to work that out. So I felt like that was a good contact that I'll follow through on. I came away with a lot of action items for me personally as a city councilor. They also had a presentation by Dr. Susan Madison on the Utah Women in Leadership Project, and she, we've talked about her before and her work, but she presented a lot of statistics about women in Utah that are disconcerting and worrisome. She's got a lot of papers that she's written about what we can do to improve the impact of girls and women in Utah. But she also had two handouts. One was what mayors can do to strengthen the impact of Utah girls and women, which I will give to John. And then there is one, what city council members can do to strengthen the impact of Utah girls and women. It's pretty fascinating stuff. I shared a lot of this with my church on Sunday. That was enlightening. And so I'll either just take a picture and give it to the council members or have Brandon run a copy.
I can
for you to
scan it
have.
and then email it out if you'd like.
It just is some good information for us as leaders in the state. And then thirdly, they had a panel of first responders that talked about the mental health of first responders. And I left that feeling that there were some things that we could do to honor, to appreciate. You know, we have our sheriff come in, but as many will know that we have a real issue with the police force and public relations, and they're really down in recruits. They're trying, different cities throughout the state are trying to find ways to drum up people who will become police officers, you know. And so I have a couple of suggestions I'd like to present to the council at some point that we might do as a matter of course to just really appreciate them and build morale.
That's great.
Thank you for giving me that time. I just wanted to give it to you while it was current.
Thank you so much. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourning at 7:50. Thank you.